Hello, and welcome to Seasoned and Smart. My name is Rachel Pennellatore, and I'm a research analyst at Greater Lynn Senior Services. Today's topic is the Vincent Lique Scholarship, and here with me in the studio is Aimee Garman, who's currently serving as the coordinator of the scholarship. Welcome, Aimee. It's good to have you here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So my first question, will jump right in and ask you what the Lique Scholarship is.
The Lique Scholarship is a scholarship established by GLIS in memory of our former executive director, Vince Lique. And it's open to high school students in our service area of Lynn, Lynnfield, Saugus, Swampscott, and Nahant.
So it's high school students, and these need to be seniors going to college next year?
Yes.
And it's open to anyone in our 5 towns. Does that include the private schools?
Yes, both public and private, as long as they're in the 5 towns.
Okay, so, and how many awards are there this year?
This year there are 2 awards for $5,000 each.
$5,000 is a lot of money for school nowadays.
Yes, it is.
And this is your first year with coordinating the scholarship?
Yes, it is.
And I know it's your first year because I have previously coordinated it the past 3 years. So we're working hand in hand this year to get the process off the ground. And how have you been finding your first year as the coordinator?
It's been fun. These scholarships are so important to students, so it's nice to see GLIS trying to help the students in this area.
And so what is the application process like?
Well, all applicants must submit a GLIS application form, 2 letters of recommendation, a transcript with GPA, and an essay.
And what is the essay topic, do you know?
The essay topic is the student's chance to explain what human services means to them, their understanding of the field, and how they plan to contribute to it.
So a discussion of what their career goals might be and their community service?
Yes.
Oh, great. And the recommendations you mentioned, what are the details about that? Do they need to be written by a certain person or in a certain way?
One needs to be a teacher, and both recommendations should be from someone who's familiar with the student's academics or community service.
And those recommendations are so important, and I remember one tip that I would have is always ask early, especially around this type of year. We know every student is asking their teachers and guidance counselors for transcripts and recommendations, either for colleges or other scholarships. So it's going to be really important to get these application requests and things done early.
Yes, definitely.
And so as the coordinator, what are some of the job aspects? What are some of the things that you do?
Well, basically, I manage the logistics of the application process. That includes coordinating with the high school guidance counselors, as well as internally with GLIS staff.
And when the applications come in, how do you handle those? What are the next steps?
Well, the first thing I do is remove all the identifying information from them, so the review committee can't see the student's name, where they're from, or anything that would identify who they are specifically.
So all of the applications are based solely on essays, transcripts, community service. They're just graded totally blind?
Yes, on the student's merit.
Okay, so that's an important point to make. And who's serving on this review committee? Who's actually making the award decisions?
The review committee is a mix of GLIS staff and the advisory council members, as well as Vince's widow, Kathy Lique.
And I actually believe we have a clip. Some of our review committee members agreed to be interviewed and talk a little bit about what makes a good application and how they found serving on the committee the past few years. So let's take a look at that clip. Hi, I'm Rachel Pennellatore, and I'm here with several members of the Lique Scholarship Review Committee. I have Marge DiVirgilio here with me, who serves as a program manager for GLIS, and Paul Crowely, our executive director. So I want to thank you both and welcome you here.
My pleasure.
So we've had this scholarship going for a number of years now, and the first thing I bet a lot of people are interested in is who is Vince Lique? I know you both worked here for a number of years with him, so tell us a little bit about the man behind it.
Paul, you want?
Oh, sure.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, you know, I go back pretty far with Vince Lique. Quite an individual, Vince was. I met him in, I believe it was 2001 or 2002, so about 10 years ago, and it was on the matter of becoming a member of the GLIS board at the time. That's and right. I've got to tell you, you know, for a meeting that was supposed to be a 20-minute meeting to discuss, you know, what I would do, when I would have to be there, it turned into a 4-hour discussion
I believe it.
about the virtues of community service, the virtues of helping seniors, and the great work that's done at Gliss. And I got to tell you, I was hooked then, just like I am today, and I owe it all to that original conversation with Vince, and our friendship started then and went on until his death in 2006.
Well, I think being on the board too, that helped you a lot to
Sure.
know how you felt like you wanted to be in this organization
Right.
and feel you were dedicated. You
Yeah.
could see that you were getting that dedication to
Right.
serving elders, and that's what it's all about. I mean, I'll tell you what year I met Vince was 1984. That's when I started, and Vince and Lee Webster came in 5 months later. They started the same day. And
1984.
1984.
Yeah.
So Vince and I, we'd go a long way back. I mean, we both started in this agency. The agency at that time was down on the old gas company on 90 Exchange Street.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, that was an old building. Oh my God, it was something.
How big
But-
was the staff then?
Oh God, I'd say if there were 20, 25 people total with fiscal and everything,
Wow.
that was it.
Right.
It was amazing. It was just amazing. And it was, to this day, it's something for me, and like Lee too, to see how we've grown so much in this
Sure.
agency and how fabulous it is. But the bottom line is serving the client.
Yeah.
The client is the bottom line. I don't care what else we do in this age. And I know the paperwork's important, but I hate it. I want to serve, I want to do what I have to do for the client. And Vince was a riot. We'd, you know, there'd be times, in those days, we didn't have the Vince Lique Fund,
Oh, right.
you know, to be able to spend on elders who needed things that they couldn't afford themselves. And so every so often I'd go up and I'd say, Vince, I need this. He said, don't tell me if you're going to be spending money, and don't tell me how much it is. I said, oh no, I won't. And I'd go right ahead and do whatever I have to, you know, whatever I have to do for the client. And of course he knew it. He knew it, and he'd laugh, and we'd both laugh, and he'd say, just don't tell me how much it is. But of course he'd see the paper, the voucher, when I put it
Right,
in.
sure.
Right?
You know-
So,
You know,
go ahead.
it's that whole the whole notion that Vince lived by, his credo, if you will, was that whatever it took to get to take care of the client, and don't ever worry about anything else. That, you know, we'll figure out the details
That's right.
later. And you know, one of the things that always struck me, especially when I first started here in 2009, is that, as you said, we were 20 or 25 employees back in 1984. Today, we're well over 600 employees, and that's 600 people who are truly dedicated to the same virtues that Vince
it is.
aspired to. 600 employees strong, and for us to be able to come that far is not only a tribute to Vince, but it's a tribute to all the people in this organization.
That's true.
Who subscribe to the theory that community service is important, and it's something that they want to make their life's calling.
And the beautiful part is now we have cable to get messages out to folks in the community. Because I want to tell everybody today, if you're a grandmother or a grandfather, and you have grandchildren or nephews and nieces, you need to pay attention to what we're telling you about today, because this is a fabulous thing. We have 2 $5,000 scholarships, Vince Lique scholarships, that are just, it's amazing to me that...
Right, for high school seniors.
Yeah, for high school, yeah.
In Lynn schools, Swampscott,
Lynn,
Lynnfield.
Lynnfield,
Fields.
Nahant, Saugus, and Swampscott.
Right,
Yeah, so we
I
got the
mean, it's amazing to...
two of them. So, and $5,000, it will go a long way. It won't pay your tuition, all that, but you know, given labs and books and you know, if you live on campus,
Right.
Stuff adds up. And
Everything adds up.
I
that's
look
right.
at the cost of tuition today versus what it was when I was going to college, and I wonder how people make it work. So, you know, this is really a good opportunity for some students that really like the premise behind what Vince stood for. And if you have that trait, if you are interested in serving your fellow man, if you will.
In one way or another.
One
I
way
mean,
or
it doesn't have to
another.
be directly social
Right.
work. It can be
Yeah.
various fields.
Absolutely, and I think it's important to say that it's not just about elders, and it's not just about
That's
community
true.
service. It's about doing what you can to make your community a better place. I mean, if you feel that that's something that you aspire to, then this is an application that you should certainly fill out.
So you both made a couple of points that I wanted to make sure we touched back upon and expanded. And you talked a little bit about Vince's motto being to always serve the client and do whatever it takes to serve the client. And so we here at GLIS usually interpret that as seniors and the elders are our clients. So why is it that GLIS has a scholarship that we offer to high school students? Why have we suddenly come up with this high school seniors instead of senior citizens award?
Who's our future?
Yeah.
The young people are our future. That's where we have to leave it to them and say, come on, guys, you got to do something. You know, you have to follow in the footsteps.
Yep, the next generation, you have to. It's like succession planning.
It
Where
is.
you want to make sure that as we move up in age and move into retirement, that there's somebody behind us to pick up where we left off.
Absolutely.
And it's so important. And I'd like to add a point about that. The idea of having, asking, basically 16, 17, 18-year-old kids to tell us what their life's goals are and to try to impress upon us their virtues and so forth is about, so that we can find somebody worthy of the money in terms of the cause and so forth. But also, you got to keep in mind that a lot of what we do around here, what we like to do around here, is intergenerational in nature. We have volunteers in the senior center on a regular basis. In fact, this past week during the February school vacation, there were a number of kids from English High School who were here serving meals to the seniors, and it's always great. And I see the the looks on these kids. They come in here and they're just a little nervous the first day, not knowing what to do, what's right, what's wrong, and so forth. And before you know it, their eyes are wide open to a number of people that offer them, just experiences in life and so forth, and just see how a young girl or boy can develop from a just a nervous kid trying to do the right thing to recognizing how powerful what it is they're doing really is, and how much they can benefit from it as well as how much they can enjoy it.
Exactly.
People don't understand how much fun community service is
It's
until
the
they've
truth.
actually done
It's
it.
the truth. And I think when the kids walk in, like you say, they're so nervous at first, but then when they look around and see that a lot of the people, gee, that's like my grandmother or grandfather or my aunt or uncle. So then they start to relax and understand that the people are there to get their meal for the day. So, okay, yeah, gee, that's easy. I can go up. I see what they're doing. And so that makes them feel comfortable when they think of it as like Nana or Papa, So it's a wonderful experience for them to come in and to find out, do they really enjoy working with the community? And the other thing, too, we have to remember is we just don't serve seniors here at GLIS anymore. It's an amazing thing, but we kind of started all ages. I mean, I think some of the programs are 18 and up, and I mean, that's fabulous. I mean, there's a lot of different programs that people are unaware, and I always just tell people, if you know somebody or you're somebody that needs something, call us anyway, so we'll direct you. If we don't know, we'll direct you in the right spot. But to get back to Vince, I can remember before he passed away, I mean, he knew he was sick. He knew what was going on. And he and Kathy, his wife, Kathy Lique, decided to start the other fund, the Vince Lique Living Legacy Fund, that helps a lot of our people, not just seniors, but people who are in need of different things they can't afford. So this is kind of traveling in different aspects of everything that Vince was for. So, and when we read, when we sat down at the meeting and read these applications, they were all great. They really were. It was so hard to pick because I think I could feel their passion and feel that they really wanted to do something in the community and serve people. So I really give applause to all those folks, the kids that did apply.
Yeah, I got to say, very impressive, the work that goes into that. I mean, it's not a cut and paste job where you just, you know, it is this kind of a specific application that, you know, requires you to focus on what we've asked you to focus on. It's not, you know, a routine.
That's right.
I want to go to college and I want to do good things and, you know, give me some money.
That's right.
You have to really convince us that, A, you're, you know, that you understand the importance and value of community service. B, that you want to pursue a career that will allow you to do those types of things. And at the end of the day, you know, I don't want to say that money isn't important, but I think what you can say about most of the folks that work in this organization, that the money is somewhat secondary to what it is we actually do. You know, that comes through loud and clear in applications, and I think when people, when the kids are filling out the applications, they should keep that in mind. And those that really, truly get it and want to participate in what we're doing here, or not necessarily here, because you don't have
That's
to.
right.
This is not about GLIS.
That's true.
Where, you know, if you wanted to come work for GLIS and you were a good candidate, would certainly take you on with open arms. But it's really about community, wherever that might be.
That's right.
So I think it's important for those kids that believe that this is something that they want to do, to really grab a hold of it and run with it,
And
because
run with it, yeah.
would be well worth it in the long
And
run.
couldn't you tell that in the applications, in a lot of the kids' applications that we read?
Yes.
That they really meant it, that this is really what they wanted to do. I could feel it when I read those applications, that they were serious. They were going to, one way or another, they were going to do something and do for the community, which that's what it's all about.
And I can't wait for that day when one of those, I mean, we're probably at the stage now where we could probably start going back to some of the candidates that got money in the past, and they should be like finish up with college. We should probably check in on them.
I think that'd be great. I think that would be a wonderful thing to kind of close the loop and say, gee, maybe they could come on cable and let folks know how it helped them.
That'd be a great idea.
You know, and what their aspirations are for the future. And I think that would be great, I really do. I like that idea. And they'll let us know, you know, it was really worth it. And I think it's great for them to be writing all about themselves, how they feel, how they plan to do it, because they're going to be doing a lot of writing anyway. So they might as well get used to it and get into the swing of it.
Part of what we do.
Exactly. So I mean, it's a great thing, I think. And I think that in the future there'll be other things that will come out of the different funds that we have. Right. The Vince LeQuie funds, which is great. And I know, Paul, that you've been instrumental in keeping those funds going and getting them, you know, on the right track.
Oh, absolutely.
And
try to do a little bit of fundraising to try to fill them up, because you know it's interesting. You know, I think you mentioned it earlier that these $5,000 grants that we give to students that wanted to work on community service as part of their college career and so forth. That's kind of the long-term strategy of the fund. The short-term strategy is, as you also mentioned, you know, filling in those needs that aren't covered by what our funding allows us to do. You know, we can give somebody, you know, if they need an air conditioner, if they need a bed, if you know, I mean, I don't know how many times you've come forward and you know, 100 gallons of oil. You know,
that's exactly right.
When push comes to shove.
And these things don't sound like big things to other folks, but wow, are they big things to the clients that we deal with.
Right.
For our seniors in high school, our senior citizens, it's, you know, the little amounts that make a difference. It's whatever, you know, getting that last 100 or 500 or 1,000 for whatever you need that expense for is essential.
It means a lot.
And that's a lot of great information. I think we really have a good picture of what you guys are looking for and what things fall under the human services. So I want to thank you both for taking the time to chat with me.
Thank you, Rachel.
Oh, thanks for having us. This was
wonderful.
This was very
easy topic.
Very enjoyable. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome back. That was a lot of great information and sounds like a really good opportunity for students in our area. So after hearing all that, if students are interested, how can they get an application?
Well, there are a number of ways a student can get an application. They can be downloaded from our website at www.glis.net or on our Facebook page under Greater Lynn Senior Services. Students can also pick up applications at their guidance counselor's office or in the principal's office.
And when is the due date?
The deadline is Friday, April 13th, right before April vacation.
Friday the 13th, so
Yes.
we'll have to hope it's actually a lucky day for them instead of unlucky. Is this scholarship renewable for other years?
Unfortunately, no. It's a one-time scholarship opportunity to help high school seniors in their first year of college.
So if this isn't renewable, what would you say is a big draw, or what's a plus to applying for this scholarship?
Probably the first thing is that it is a local scholarship. The Lique Foundation Scholarship wants to support the local students. So it creates a much smaller pool of applicants, especially if you compare it to a state or a national scholarship. So the chances of winning are much higher.
So you're competing against just high school seniors in our 5 towns rather than potentially the entire nation.
Exactly.
So your odds are much better. Also, I know that the check is given directly to the student, the award amount.
Yes.
And I know that's a big help, especially if you get scholarship from the schools. That immediately goes right to your tuition, and you're left to pay out of pocket for things like your books or your meal plan or room and board and things. But this $5,000 would really go a long way towards that. You could even use it for things like maybe a laptop for school. That might be a good expense.
Yes, it's really helpful that it doesn't go to the school. Costs add up so quickly at college, you don't even realize until you start purchasing these things. I remember when I went, I could spend easily $200 to $400 a semester just on books.
Right.
And that's not including outside lab materials or anything like that. So it adds up quickly.
Yeah. And there's also the point that when outside scholarships are reported to the school the student goes to, that does impact financial aid from the school itself. I know that's actually a federal regulation that schools have to reduce financial aid awards when students report outside scholarships. So actually giving that check to the student benefits them and gives them a little bit of extra help outside that they otherwise might lose financial aid or work study otherwise. Does this remind you of your college search at all?
Yes, it does. It's because college is so expensive. Different scholarships like this are really helpful because you can get these local scholarships within the community, and they add up fast and they help defray all the different things you have to pay for when you go to college.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I grew up in the area. I went to Lynn English, and I know I applied for hundreds of scholarships, and once, I got several of them, and if you get a scholarship for $500, another one for $500, another one for $1,000, I mean, it's nothing to sneeze at. Those amounts start to add up really quickly with the cost today.
Yes.
And especially with students graduating with record student debt, the scholarships become more and more important as the funding dries up other places.
Definitely. It's the one thing that's very disappointing when you graduate from college is to get your first student loan bill.
Yes.
And it's something that stays with you. It takes 10 to 15 years to pay off, and it's better to start off as fresh as you can.
Yeah, definitely. The least amount of debt will put you in a better position once you graduate, for sure.
Yes.
Do you have any other final tips for applying? When you're looking at essays or choosing which scholarships to apply to, how do you attack that? How do you go about that?
I think nowadays scholarships are given in different fields. This one focuses on community service and in human services, and so there are many applications that have similar requirements, and so a student can use an essay for one and apply it to these others, so it can help focus the essay, but then also help cut down on the work in applying for many scholarships.
So if you organize your work around certain themes, it will help you be more organized and apply for a lot more scholarships.
Exactly. And I think the other key to applying for scholarships, especially in regards to the essay, is to make it personal. The review committees really like to know who the student is, why they specifically deserve the scholarship.
It's a good hint, and I would say the last tip is to apply, because the answer is always no if you never ask. So,
yes.
Well, that's great, and I think anybody who's thinking about it should definitely log on and at least check it out. And thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I hope we get a good turnout this year, and just want to wish the applicants the best of luck.
All right, good luck, everyone.